Personnel with the front line with Joe and Joe. Once again, let us go into the breach. Canada's chief public health officer gives us an update on COVID vaccines. Play the clip.
It has been more than 6 months since your last dose of COVID-19 vaccine or your last infection. Your protection from the virus may have waned. Receiving a COVID-19 vaccine dose this fall with an updated formulation is expected to increase individual protection against infection, symptoms, and severe disease. With today's authorization, NACI is reaffirming its guidance on the use of COVID-19 vaccines this fall. NACI recommends authorized age groups get an updated COVID-19 vaccine dose this fall, 6 months after their last vaccine dose or infection. We will have enough supply of the updated COVID-19 vaccines to support immunization programs across Canada.
Lady, I can't hear what you're saying. You got something in front of your mouth. Supreme Court of Canada rules against Justin Trudeau. What does he care? He doesn't care what the Supreme Court says or the rule of law. Play the clip.
Breaking news, huge win, folks. The Supreme Court of Canada has said that Trudeau can't stop provincial resource development. The Supreme Court of Canada ruled against Trudeau's No More Pipelines law. Huge news, but here is the main takeaway. Trudeau can't tell Scott Moe or Danielle Smith or Francois Legault that they can't develop resources to create good jobs in their province. Now, the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, we were official interveners at the Supreme Court of Canada because when governments stop resource development, taxpayers pay. Now, this is a huge win for Canadian taxpayers. Obviously, I'm so pumped. You know, my family's in Alberta. Huge news over there. But folks, this is an embarrassment for the Trudeau government, a real bad day for Mr. Trudeau. Now, I just want to give a couple shout outs. Thank you to our supporters who made sure that our lawyers could be at the Supreme Court of Canada sticking up for taxpayers and Canadian resource development. And a huge kudos to our lawyers for making great arguments in the Supreme Court. Again, folks, huge news, great news. The Supreme Court has said that Trudeau can't stop provincial resource development.
Great day for Canada. Great day for Canada. You've been getting bludgeoned for 8 years. For crying out loud, open your eyes. Do you think he cares what the Supreme Court says? He's just going to twist the law and do what he wants anyway. That's the process. That's what he does. Get it through your head. There is no winning here. Get rid of Trudeau. Justin Trudeau puts on his tough guy face. Hamas are terrorists? No kidding, Justin. Play the clip.
So let me be very clear. Hamas terrorists aren't a resistance. They're not freedom fighters. They are terrorists. And no one in Canada should be supporting them, much less celebrating them.
I like the huffing and puffing effect, Justin. I think the people will buy it. Polyev says world leaders don't take Justin Trudeau seriously. Pierre, the Canadian people don't take Justin Trudeau seriously. Play the clip.
What do you make, sir, of Canada and Japan not being signatories to the G7 common statement on what's happening in Israel?
The 5 G7 countries, Germany, Italy, the UK, US, and Italy, all signed off a deal, and they didn't even ask Justin Trudeau. Can we be honest? They don't care what Justin Trudeau thinks. World leaders don't take Justin Trudeau seriously. They think he's a joke. He's being trampled on by world leaders all around the world. Look, when you look at Justin Trudeau at an international meeting, other leaders don't even want to shake his hand. He stands off in the corner while the adults have serious conversations. They know that he's decimated our military, that he embarrasses our country on the world stage, that he allowed a Nazi to be recognized at the state visit of the Ukrainian president, that he has no idea what he's talking about on matters of foreign policy. And they're tired of his pointless, meaningless virtue signaling that's backed up with no substance whatsoever. So right now, unfortunately, as long as Justin Trudeau's around, we will have no influence on the world stage. We need to bring in a serious leader who will rebuild our military, be a professional on the world stage, harness our natural resources, our energy as a geopolitical point of power. We could be breaking European dependence on Putin by selling our liquefied natural gas, but Trudeau blocks it because he doesn't think there's a business case. We could displace oil from Russia, from Iran, and other dictatorships if Justin Trudeau would stop waging war on our energy sector. We could be selling our civilian-grade uranium so that foreign countries could break their dependence on coal-fired electricity and build nuclear power plants. But these are all things that Justin Trudeau has failed to do because he is not a serious leader, and the rest of the world looks at him as a joke.
Ultimately, it's an embarrassment. But sadly, in America, we have the same situation right now. America elected Joe Biden. Another embarrassment. And that is an apolitical statement. That's an objective statement. Both Trudeau and Biden are sadly not qualified and should not be in the position they are in. They represent a larger ideology. They don't represent, sadly, the people of their respective countries. And frankly, the proof is in the pudding. You tell a good tree by the fruit it bears. But then again, Trudeau has good hair. Justin Trudeau is committed to balancing the budget. Really? Play the clip.
What the economy needs is a plan for growth and investment. And what Canadians need are leaders who will tell them the truth. The commitment needs to be a commitment to grow the economy, and the budget will balance itself. We are committed to balancing the budget in 2019.
This was supposed to be the year the Liberals balanced the budget.
And we will balance the budget in 2019.
But there are deficits as far as the eye can see.
That we will be balancing the budget in 2019.
And that's the message to voters.
2019, the year he said he guaranteed that Canada would have a balanced budget, deficit turned out to be $26.6 billion. Reuters news agency reported this week that the Trudeau government, representing Canada, raised its debt load faster than any other country in the Group 7 of nations. Last year, our total debt, which is all of the deficits combined, went over $1 trillion for the first time ever. And in the most recent election this year, Trudeau made 103 new spending promises, costing $78 billion.
Do you feel the spending has gotten out of control?
It's no secret that Canadians are feeling stretched.
I know there are people out there who said we should have done less. What would Canadians have done? They would have loaded up their credit cards. They would have scrambled to try and find ways to pay their bills and pay their groceries and figure out how to care for their loved ones.
$41.70. Between the higher cost of living and higher interest rates meant to wrangle inflation, it appears many Canadians have racked up costly debt.
We made a very specific and deliberate choice. We decided to take on that debt to prevent Canadians from having to do it.
The CMHC says families and the entire economy will be more vulnerable.
I know there are people out there who said we should have done less.
This bankruptcy advisor says it's been his busiest month in years.
The commitment needs to be a commitment to grow the economy, and the budget will balance itself.
I live in a van. Just say you still live in a van.
The budget will balance itself. Interesting. The Canadian Federal Court of Appeals is hearing arguments which is challenging Trudeau's government travel vaccine mandate. Play the clip.
Hello, everybody. I'm in Ottawa with Sean. As you know, we did fight the vaccine travel mandate last year in the federal court. We didn't win, and we decided to appeal, and that was this morning. So what do you think, Sean, will happen, or what is your impression of that hearing this morning here in Ottawa?
Good question. I'm not feeling overly confident, especially due to the fact that we learned last night that the three judges that were appointed to this case at the Federal Court of Appeal were Quebec judges, French judges, essentially, and that all three of them were appointed by the former Attorney General David Lametti. So it's not a vote of confidence, I guess. In my mind, I don't see us. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We have a very, very strong case. Our lawyers did a phenomenal job in presenting the information. We had some amazing arguments, and we'll just have to see where the cards fall, I guess.
And speaking about the arguments, the first judge said the case is moot because, the vaccine mandates have been lifted. So we don't want to hear your case. But when she did that, she had to follow 3 criteria. And one of them was, is it in the public interest to hear that case? And she said no. She said that Canadians are not interested to hear that case. And I was a little bit not so happy when one of the judges asked our lawyer about the public interest. And he said, which public interest? When you're speaking about public interest, for him, in his mind, there's 2 public interests. The one for the vaccinated people and the one for the unvaccinated people. It's
which accounts for about 6 million people, don't forget.
Yeah,
it's not a small number of people.
It's not a small number, and it's like saying, me as a judge, I'm not vaccinated, I'm vaccinated, and I'm not interested to hear your case. But it's segregation, and it was in the public opinion because we had a huge rally here in Ottawa, the Freedom Convoy, and after that, the government had to do a public inquiry about what happened during the Freedom Convoy. So it was in the public opinion. But I believe that the judge, the way that he was asking the questions, think that the public opinion for him, it's only the public opinion of the vaccinated people.
Well, and it goes a little further than that. There's the judicial economy side of this. So they don't think that it's worth spending the money to hear this case. There are about 14,000 documents in this case that they feel is too much evidence. And don't forget, it was the government that put forward 16 witnesses, right? So they generated most of this evidence by putting such a large amount of experts forward for cross-examination. And now they're saying there's too much evidence and that they don't have the time or the money to hear it. It's like absolutely insane.
It's not an argument.
No.
And I believe that the test today, when we'll have that decision, because it may be in a week, but when we'll have that decision, it will be an important moment to judge if it's in Canada we have kangaroo courts or not. And if we don't win, do you agree with me that we will have to appeal up to the Supreme Court of Canada?
We'll definitely be going to the Supreme Court, for sure.
But like you, Sean, I'm not so confident. I was listening the questions from the judges, and I hope that they won't confirm what I think that we have now in Canada, kangaroo court.
It's definitely looking that way, but let's hope they prove us wrong.
Absolutely. So stay tuned, stay strong and free, and we will always fight for what we believe. And I believe strongly that a day we will be successful. If it's not here in court, it will be in the public opinion at the next general election. Stay strong and free. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Guess where this is going? Nowhere.
Hey guys, stay up to date with all of our content at Locals. We post videos and updates not found on this platform. Thank you for your support.